Hello students, this is Professor Chalai, and in this lecture we're going to look at the atomic symbol. As always, you can follow along with our Chapter 2 workbook. Now, the atomic symbol is simply just a way to represent all of the useful information about that atom in a nice compact form. Remember how we talked about in studying chemistry, we often need to write symbols for everything in order to study them and understand them in a more efficient manner. And so the atomic symbol simply takes those information and put it in a nice simple symbol where we have the symbol for that element. On the upper left, we have the mass number, and remember the mass number is simply the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. In the lower left, we have the atomic number, and remember the atomic number is simply the number of protons. And in the upper right, we have the charge, and the charge is simply just the number of protons minus the number of electrons. And so in this way, we summarize all of those pieces of information, the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons within an atom. Now, the element X that I've highlighted here, to figure out exactly what the element is, we would need a periodic table. This is just a copy that you have in your workbook. I just included it here again, but just know that as a chemist, and you're all chemists because you're studying chemistry, you need to have a periodic table with at least the element symbols, the atomic numbers, and here is going to be the mass number, the atomic mass of those elements. So those three pieces of information are very crucial for what we need in Chem 150. So make sure you have a periodic table that's easily accessible, either printed or have a little tab on your browser that you can bookmark to get to a periodic table. Okay, so let's look at how we can decompose some atomic symbols. Let's look at this first one here. And let's figure out what the atom is, how many protons, neutrons, and electrons it has. Well, we know that the atom, the atomic symbol, it's not X. X here is just a placeholder. But the atomic symbol is determined from the atomic number, the element, which is determined from the number of protons. And the number of protons is right here in the lower left. So number of protons is 28. So what's the element with 28 number of protons? Here's where we need to use our periodic table. We look for atomic number 28, and in this case, it looks like it's nickel. So the atomic symbol, the element, is going to be nickel. All right. Now, let's figure out the number of neutrons. Well, we know that the mass number, which is in the upper left, is the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So to get the number of neutrons, we just take 50 minus 28, which should give us 22 as the number of neutrons. And you can just verify 28 plus 22 is 50, which is correct. And for the electrons, we just look at the charge. If the charge is 0, it means the protons and electrons are the same. But this has a charge of plus 2, which means there are 2 more protons than electrons. So the number of protons is 28. The number of electrons will be 28 minus 2, which is actually 26. I hope that all makes sense. Try these on your own. Pause the video, try these on your own, and when we come back, I'll just do one for practice. Okay, hopefully you've done all of these, and I'm gonna choose to do this one. Let's highlight it for you, just to see if you got the same answer. So once again, we look at the number of protons. It's 17. What element does that correspond to? Well, let's look at our periodic table. And it's over here. Element number 17 is chlorine. So there we go. Element number 17 is chlorine, so the element is chlorine, Cl. The symbol is Cl. Number of neutrons, well, it's the mass number, 27, minus the number of protons. That will give us 10. So the number of neutrons here is 10. And again, number of electrons, the charge tells us the number of protons minus the number of electrons. The charge is -1, which means there was one more electron than the number of protons. So if there's 17 protons, the charge should be 18. Or another way to figure that out, remember the number of the charge, atomic charge, is equal to number of proton, 17, minus the number of electrons. 17 minus what is -1? It's 18. Okay. Let's do the inverse. For number 5, let's try to figure out, given the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons, write the proper atomic symbol. And don't use the placeholder X. For the symbol, use the proper symbol. If it's hydrogen, use H. If it's lithium, use Li, and so on and so forth. So do all of these, and pause the video, do all of these, and when we come back, I'll do a couple just to make sure we're on the same page. Okay, the first one I'm going to do, let's do the second one in this table. The symbol for an atom with 3 protons, 5 neutrons, and 2 electrons. Well, if we look up the atomic symbol for element number 3, because the atomic number is 3, we find that that's lithium, right? Lithium is atom 3, and we put 3 there for number of protons. Mass numbers, number of protons plus the number of neutrons, so that's 8. 3 plus 5 is 8, so we write 8 up there. And the charge is number of protons minus number of electrons. 3 minus 2 is 1, or plus 1. Sometimes you just write a plus up there. So that's the atomic symbol for the second row. Let's do the last row. Okay, so element number 6, atomic number is 6. If you look that up, that's carbon, right? 6 protons, so we put 6 down there. The mass number is 6 plus 7, 6 protons plus 7 neutrons. That gives us 13. And the charge is number of protons, 6, minus number of electrons, 6. So the charge is 0. You can either put a 0 there, or you can leave it blank, and that'll be equally correct. I hope you got all those correct. If you didn't, you can send me an email or come to office hours, and we're going to go over more practice. But try to do all of these for practice. It's muscle memory. The more you do it, the faster you become at doing them. But that will bring us to the end of atomic symbols. Just remember that it gives us the mass number, atomic number, and the charge, and remember the positions of those different numbers around the symbol. I'll see you in the next video when we talk about atomic mass. See you then. Bye.